It's my pleasure to make the first afternoon presentation introduction, and that person would be Mickey Sloat. Mickey is a student at Davenport Central High School in Davenport. She's the daughter of Bonnie and Gary Sloat, and the title of her presentation is Don't Upstage Yourself. Mickey.
Hello everyone, my name is Mickey Sloat and I'm the founder of Don't Upstage Yourself, a program that uses theater as a tool to encourage in students a love of the arts, public speaking, and most importantly, themselves. So before we begin, I'd like to explain to you the name Don't Upstage Yourself. So in theater, upstaging yourself is when you turn your back to the audience and you hide what you're doing and they can't really see your expression. So we always say don't upstage yourself. Always make sure to face the audience and express yourself fully. I think this same idea goes for my program. We're encouraging students to express themselves freely and openly to the entire audience and the entire world. So believe me, I could stand up here and talk to you for 12 minutes about this program, but I wanted you to see the best part of my job, which is working with amazing students, amazing volunteers, and incredibly supportive community and school members. So I wanted you to hear some of their opinions.
I think it's important because it's like a way for people to like express themselves and just be who they are and meet new people.
As long as I've been teaching theater for 11 years now, I've had kids from special needs up to kids that are in honors classes, from kids who are poor to kids who are rich, and it doesn't matter. All of them get along great, and because theater binds them, because they all have one thing in common, the love of getting on stage.
I like theater because you can act and
honors classes, from kids who are poor to kids who are rich.
Different feelings and express yourself like as your character. And if your characters really like you, then that's awesome.
Theater gives you a lot of opportunities to do new things and express yourself a lot more and interact with people.
So to explain the mission of Don't Upstage Yourself, I'd like to give you a little bit of personal background. So when I was 7, I was incredibly shy. I hated talking to teachers, adults, and even other classmates. And that all changed once I was entered into a summer theater camp. I immediately felt at home. I felt as though I could express myself. I gained this new self-confidence I'd never had before. Heck, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it hadn't been for theater. And I saw the incredibly transformative properties of it, especially since the #1 fear among Americans is a fear of public speaking. That ranks even above death. So I know how incredible the theater experience can be for self-confidence and image. But I realized because of socioeconomic difficulties, many families couldn't offer their students this opportunity. So instead, I wanted to make sure that every family gets the opportunity to expose their children to theater. So I wrote 10 weeks worth of curriculum, which I suggested and proposed to an after-school activity called Stepping Stones in my school district, which they were a little hesitant to accept because I was only a sophomore in high school. Eventually, they let me in. They said you can have an hour and a half a week for 10 weeks with these students, and I ran with it. We had a showcase. It went swimmingly, and every year since, they've asked me back for 3 years now. I've worked with about 40 kids per session, totaling in a grand total of over 3 years for over 120 kids that I've worked with, personally bonded with, and seen their growth, which is a number I'm incredibly proud of. I also invite volunteers, since I can't do it all on my own, from my local school drama club, which I'm president of. And I train these volunteers in how to deal with the kids, and I think it provides a really good mentorship program between the students and seeing what they can become as adult actors. So here's some more pictures from our previous showcases and stuff. So next, we're going to talk about what we do from a week-to-week basis in Don't Upstage Yourself. So we start every week by sitting down and having a little powwow with the kids. We talk about how their week's been going, what they learned in school, and then I introduce to them a new theater topic, whether that be lights and costumes, or locking, or the audition process. And we discuss it for a little bit. Then we get up and start playing an improv game. So improv is thinking on your feet. It requires a lot of creativity, ingenuity, and overall a really great process for kids. It's like, whose line is it anyway? So we play a lot of games that really encourage all of these things in children. So one of our favorite games is called environments. I suggest an environment to the students, like outer space, for example, and then they have to become something in that environment, whether that be an astronaut or a planet or anything else. It really forces them to look at things from new perspectives and be really creative in what they become. So another one of our games is called Park Bench. And it's really exciting because one student sits on the bench, another person enters the scene and has to make the first student leave the bench, which is actually really difficult because it requires scene building, which requires an incredible amount of teamwork. Because if one person doesn't want to leave the bench and one person does, it doesn't make for a very amusing scene. So it's one of our favorite games, and I have some clips of it here for you to see him playing it. So.
Tyler gets to go against us. He hasn't got something on his face. Bees. The bees coming.
Some experimentation to see what works.
Good job. Get off your pants, Tyler. You told me to go to
So we also put on a play at the end. So I write a script. It's about a 10-minute play. Normally there's spoofs of well-known stories. And we go through the entire rehearsal process. So that means costume, set, props, all of which I provide out of my own pocket. We also do blocking and auditions, and then we have a showcase at the end where all the parents come and I leave surveys out. I've gotten some really incredible feedback. One parent even said that their child has never been excited coming home from Stepping Stones before until they'll Upstage Yourself. So I'm pretty proud of that. Here's a little clip of some of what we did at the Youth and Arts tent. I think it's adorable because she never actually hits the drum. So the Youth and Arts tent was kind of an expansion of Don't Upstage Yourself. So when I proposed this for the Hoover Uncommon Student Award, I had already been doing Don't Upstage Yourself for 2 years. But I wanted to expand its reach to reach all of the students in the Davenport metro area. But I realized since I'm putting over 100+ hours in every session of Don't Upstage Yourself, as I just explained it, that wouldn't make sense for all of the 20 elementary schools in my district. That's just, I'd have to quit school to do that. So I decided instead to create a tent that would be at local events and activities for families in the Quad City area. So I reached out to many local organizations that are involved in youth and arts, and I asked them for donations for an interactive booth for students. So I received face painting materials from a children's theater, dance shoes from a dance academy. I received musical instruments that the kids could try out from a music store, and arts like coloring books and stuff from a local art museum. With all this stuff, I then asked the Parks and Rec department, hey, can I be at some events this summer? And they let me be at the Big Street Fest, which brings over 10,000 people into the Quad City area, 3,000 of which were children that stopped at my tent, which was incredible. And I was also at the Back to School Bash, which is focused on kids with poor socioeconomic standing, and it asked, they give away free school supplies there. And they had enough school supplies for 1,000 kids, which they ran out at about noon, and kids just kept coming. So there's at least another 1,000 kids that I touched there as well, bringing me to a grand total of 4,000 kids who otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to get involved in the arts. Not only did this booth offer them interactive opportunities to try out the arts and hopefully find a passion, but it also showed them a way where to go with their passion. It gave them a lot of opportunities of where to get involved in the local area, and a lot of organizations that are really excited about youth and arts. So. And I wanted to show you a little bit of what the kids think and what my volunteers think.
I think theater is important because it teaches kids to look at things in different perspectives.
I like volunteering through like Don't Upstage Yourself because it's really just a way for like kids to express themselves and for us to get like a learning kind of experience, I guess. And I can really tell like a lot of them enjoy it and want to be like become better actors and actresses in theater.
This program is cool because I can express myself and be loud. I love being loud. So I like how you can be dramatic and stuff like that. Hamlet Pig, he's super dramatic. He will literally go over and be alive.
That is very dramatic.
That's so dramatic.
I like the games that we play. It's like the children actually, most of them want to be a part of it, and it's actually kind of like cool to see how they react at the shindig the imagination and the
I like playing the game that we were just playing. It's when you can't say no, and then you'll pretend you're one of your favorite friends, and people had to give you it.
I really enjoy it because you get to interact with the kids and help them come out of their comfort zone into something new and express themselves a little more. And it's actually fun to see their personality and see what they like to come up with.
So Upstage Yourself is a perfect opportunity for the young adults for the first time to be involved in theater. So they may have never done it before, but it's a good opportunity to get them on the stage, to get them out of their shell, try something new, and make new friends.
The original pig, and the circumstance, and
So I always can't help but start laughing at the end of that because it's really incredible for me to see the growth of the students over even just a short 10-week time. Riley, who was in the video, the little ball of sunshine, she wasn't always that way. The first couple of weeks she was very reserved, and she came out so much that she was able to speak in my video, so I'm pretty proud of that. I'm also proud of the incredible community support I've received, not only from teachers but from other community members. I also, in the future, plan to continue this even when I'm gone. I'm currently working with the local children's theater and asking them to do my project on a much larger scale since they have the faculty and funding to do so. Right now I'm doing it through my school drama club, and I have some incredible volunteers coming up through the ranks, like you saw in the video, that will be completely competent in continuing the program in the future. So I really love this program. I've wanted to do it since I was 7. I know the kids love it, and I hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Any questions?
How do you get volunteers for this program? Do they come out of class? Is it after school, summer? Describe the process by which volunteers or people are interested.
Okay, yeah, so right now I'm doing it through my school drama club. I'm the president, so I can kind of solicit help as I want it. So I asked if anyone's involved in it about 2 weeks before we started doing the program in schools. And then with those volunteers, I did training with them so they know how to properly handle, you know, if a kid runs up and hugs you, what do you do? Because you're not supposed to hug them back for like certain legal reasons and stuff. So I had to do a lot of training with that with them. It was during the beginning of the school year, right before I start this program, and we do training 3 hours total of training with them before they actually enter the learning experience with the kids. And they're just high school students who want to help out just like I do. So.
Okay, thank you.
Did you mentioned a successor?
Yes.
Have you discussed this with them?
Yes, yeah. So I'm currently collaborating with the local children's theater, junior theater. I'm currently collaborating with them in making my curriculum, which is very comprehensive 10-week curriculum, making it applicable to all of the 20 schools in our district. And they have the funding and the people to be able to do what I'm doing right now on a much larger scale. So I'm really excited about that collaboration. They have both people who work for them, they're part of the AmeriCorps program, so they have plenty of people to facilitate the same type of hands-on learning that I'm doing here with the students in the future.
Would it be done in the school?
Yes, yeah. So they're partnered, the Stepping Stones program that I'm working with is partnered with the Parks and Rec department, and so is the Children's Theater. So they can work through Parks and Rec to get all of this done. Right now I had to work through Stepping Stones, and then I found out that there's a lot of bureaucracy involved, so I had to go through the school district, and then I had to go through the Parks and Rec department, and so there's a lot of steps to it, and so moving this program forward, since they both already work through the Parks and Rec department, it should be a pretty smooth transition.
You mentioned that when you were a sophomore, it took a little while to get actually into the program.
Yes.
What were some of the things that you said or did to convince them that it was important?
Well, I came to them with an idea to start with, and I said, hey, this is something I'd love to do. And they said, okay, well, that's great. When are you going to do it? What are you going to do? So then I went back to the drawing board. I wrote up a really comprehensive curriculum for week by week what we're going to do. I came with a play that I'd written. I said, this is what we're going to put on. I'm working through the drama club at my school, so I got myself a little bit of accreditation there. And I then presented myself again, and a little bit of persistence works a long way. So I emailed them a couple of times. There was some poor communication, and eventually I just went into their offices. So I got it done though, so I'm really glad I did, because otherwise I never would have had this program to begin with. So persistence is the way to go.
I know we saw some pictures of the art tent, like with percussion, and then you mentioned the ballet shoes or dancing shoes.
Mm-hmm.
What other type of arts do you incorporate into that art section of your project?
Yeah, so I was trying to focus on 4 main parts of the arts. So I had the dance arts, I had the musical arts, as you saw with the instruments. We also had the visual arts from the Figge Art Museum. They donated a bunch of coloring pages and grease crayons and stuff for the kids to experiment with as well. And we also had a face painting station for a theater. Unfortunately, there's not a great way to have an interactive theater thing other than face painting, which is a lot of fun, and it brought a lot of kids in, so they tried all the other stuff too. So.
Okay, thank you, Mickey.
Fantastic, thank you so much.